If ever your life could be a true crime podcast episode, then this podcast is for you. We're about to embark on a roller coaster of emotions, insights, survival, and stories about escape. So buckle up and let the journey begin.
Hello and welcome back into the Escape Pod. I'm Julie.
And I'm Charity.
And we are coming to you from the One Heart campus in Rapid City, South Dakota. And we're coming to you today with a friend in the studio.
Well, we've gotten a lot of feedback on this particular friend who is the transformation director of One Heart, like one of the best hires I've ever made. We got a lot of feedback on, that guy that works for you, like he's really funny. He's like that all the time, which is one of the reasons I love him so much. But so we've brought Chad Radigan back and say hello.
Hello, everybody.
So we've had a really difficult week this week. Just a really, really difficult week. So we've decided that today is just going to be crimes that are ridiculously funny. And we're going to debate, okay? So we're going to debate whether this is just pure stupidity. And there's a whole bunch of cases, little cases. So little snippets of cases, if it's pure stupidity or if crisis brain could have been a factor. And the goal is to just have some fun. And just to kind of set the tone, I'm going on vacation next week, and I was just kind of flipping through the calendar that I'm going to miss. This is for Monday, March 11th. Note to self, it is illegal to stab people for being stupid. So it made me laugh because some of these are so ridiculous that I think it's going to lend towards some good commentary and some good conversation, and should just really be a good, lighthearted, fun space to get out of the week that we've had. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm in.
You're in?
Let's do it.
Okay. You ready?
Who's the first one?
Well, I have two versions of stolen marijuana plants. These are pretty funny. So I'm just going to jump right in. You ready? Okay. So this first one was in Tennant Creek in the UK in 2019. A 60-year-old man named William Poynton phoned police to report that people had been stealing his marijuana plants. So they go to respond. They search his house. They find more of these illegal plants that had been stolen in the man's house. And he had something like 82 plants that they had found, not including the ones that had been stolen. So he was charged with all kinds of drug-related activities, like cultivating a commercial quantity of cannabis, supplying a dangerous drug, and possessing a trafficable amount of cannabis. During his trial, his defense attorney portrayed him as an upstanding citizen, and although he was doing something illegal, he wanted to protect the children who were stealing from him because he believed children should not have access to marijuana. So he called the police himself as a good citizen.
Admirable.
That's
what I call that action.
Yeah, not because he was stupid or because he was stoned. So what say you, Chadwick?
That sounds like a reasonable thing to do. The kids are stealing my drugs, and I want to keep them safe. So I better report this immediately.
Oh my gosh. I always think, did he hesitate to call, or was he like, I'm calling. I'm going to get those kids.
I just do the kids know what to do with a plant?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do they?
I think they do.
Okay. You got all kinds of Google and I
don't know what to do with the plant.
I don't have them. My parents have them, but pictures of me as this high in a pot field that my dad was cultivating.
I thought you were about to say.
What? What do you think I was going to say?
Marijuana plants?
Plants that high.
I have a lot of plants. I have no marijuana plants at home. For the record, no. No. This was when I was little. So, yeah, hidden group.
If I had a marijuana plant at home, guaranteed I would kill it. Because I kill everything that comes into my house besides my children and my pets.
What do they call the opposite of a green thumb?
I call it a black thumb.
Okay.
I don't know what the official term is, but...
A dead thumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So second one that involves marijuana plants. This was in Adelaide, Australia, 2011. David Williamson calls police to report people trying to rob him at gunpoint at his home. There were 4 intruders breaking into his home, held him at gunpoint. They were there to steal his cannabis crop. And of course, the victim ended up being charged himself. So the 4 men, ages 22 to 26, were charged with aggravated serial criminal trespass, and the homeowner was charged with cultivating illegal cannabis plants. So
Definitely
Note
crisis
to
spree.
self. Yeah.
I mean, you put yourself at risk. You have a bunch of plants, or, in this case, I don't know if it's legalized there now, but at this point in time, it was illegal. But what would you do? I mean, if someone had me at gunpoint,
Yeah. I honestly,
that's a hard,
I would call.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. If you were that scared, I would call, but you're calling what they're taking is.
You shouldn't have it in the first place.
Shouldn't have it in the
these
first place.
cases, yeah. Okay, so those are the two about stolen marijuana plants that I just found pretty hilarious. Okay, this one. This one. Okay.
She's smiling before she.
Oh, Facebook. God bless it. Okay, this guy Andrew Hennels made plans to rob a supermarket in Norfolk, UK, in 2015. And he posted his plans, like beating his chest. He was a big man, bragging or something on Facebook with a selfie, a picture of a knife, and a caption that read, "Doing, period, Tesco, period, over, period." Tesco was the supermarket. He did break in. He did steal cash, and he was caught 15 minutes later. What do you think his motivation was there, Chad?
Just stupidity.
Okay.
I read about a story last year where a guy called a bank and said, "Get the money ready. I'm coming to rob you in 15 minutes." And he actually showed up. The cops were there waiting for him. It's just,
Hi, you called?
I'm here for my
we
money.
are.
Here for my pickup.
Yeah, so are we.
So are we.
Hands behind your back, please.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of these things, like when you see on social media, it's so hard nowadays to be like, is it
real?
Yeah, or
Right.
somebody just messing around. To do that and then actually go through with it,
It's bold, man.
Yeah.
It's bold.
Well,
do
is it
you
bold
think
or just
there's-
complete idiocy?
Well, it's complete
Yeah.
idiocy, but not to defend any of this, but I do. Do you know how old the person was?
from
Young, older?
pictures, I'm going to guess probably 27-ish,
Okay.
30-ish.
So
Old enough to know
certainly
better.
old enough to know better, but I do think in the world that we're in, where so much of it is like virtual, like it's just out in cyberland
it's not real. You can't touch it. You're removed from it.
You're kind of removed from it. I think there is very much disconnection that can partly potentially be to blamed, and he could just be remarkably dumb. But
also, only people that see you on Facebook, they're all your friends. So
right, why would they turn you in?
turn you in? Or wait, cops can see that stuff? What?
Yeah.
So just
Yeah,
understand how it works. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
very true.
So
I just can't.
Chad's just shaking his head.
It just blows my mind.
I think to myself, like, we see so many people who have experienced like real traumas on our campus, and very much come to us in that crisis mode, survival mode, this and that. And they're some of the smartest people we've known,
Oh, yeah.
right? Not that they don't have, impulse issues or, have a hard time making certain decisions or make mistakes. Of course they do. That there's reasons they're here. But they're not that dumb. In fact, most of the time, they're pretty smart about how they go about doing things. And so, this might just, it's a new level of like.
This next one's really funny.
Go
You
for
ready?
it. Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, I call this one a vain vandal. Ready? Okay, Ohio, 2016. Donald, excuse me, and I do not know how to pronounce his last name. Puch. Take a guess.
UCH, Puck.
Puck, puke, puck. I have no idea. Do you know?
Pooch.
Puch.
Puch.
So if it's or Asian of Asian descent, usually
No.
PH
I don't-
starts with an F.
I don't think so.
So
Nope, it's not.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. I promise. Anyway, so this guy, we'll just call him Donald, was wanted being suspected of arson and vandalism. Police released a photo of him for the public to be on the lookout for. He sees the photo. He doesn't like it. And so he sends a selfie to the Ohio police with a note that read, "Here's a better photo. That one is terrible." And during an interview with the radio station, he said, "Man, they just did me wrong. They put a picture out that made me look like I was a Thundercat or James Brown on the run. I can't do that." He was later arrested.
That's awesome.
It was an awful photo. Yeah. He just could not let it go. All right, so crisis brain or idiot?
I feel like it can be both.
And he was arrested in a different state, so it can be both. You're wanted, and you're the right person they want, and you're gonna make it easy. You might as well just go here, arrest me.
Turn yourself in with the picture.
Julie's gonna lose it.
That you want them to use.
I just think to myself, if I ever had a mugshot, I probably would critique the mugshot too. I'd be like, it's not the side I want you to see.
I never did see my mugshot, so I don't know what it looks like. I wonder if my husband can find that.
Ooh. We could.
I know. Was the hair flat then?
No.
Ah, okay.
No, I had a lot of hair back then. Yeah. Yeah.
Just the audacity to just be like, you know what? I know I'm wanted, but this picture sucks.
Is that just narcissism?
I feel like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't look good in this. Please use this one.
I mean, if you're going to be blaring my photo, make it a good one.
Exactly.
What the hell's wrong with you, cops,
Yeah.
right? Okay. All right, next one. I call this one the Welsh Village Idiot. All right. 2014, 27-year-old aspiring bank robber. Yes, some people aspire to be bank robbers. His name is Dean Smith. He goes into a bank to change his address. He spots cash in the till, and he gets the brilliant idea to return to the bank later that day to rob the bank that he was just at. A half hour later, he wore sunglasses and he wore socks over his shoes as a disguise, and he demands the money under threat of a knife of some kind. The cashier refuses, possibly because they recognized him from a half hour ago. And so he was easily caught and jailed for 2.5 years for attempted robbery and carrying a bladed weapon.
I think that's the person who watched the kids shows too much when they were little, where to disguise yourself is just putting on a pair of glasses or a hat. Be they're never going to know who I am.
Well, I will say maybe he should have straightened his hair, because when we got on a conference call today just before this, and Chad thought someone hijacked my office because my hair is straightened right now.
I've known you. How long do you think I've known you?
Well, you've known me for probably 12 years at least. Well,
I knew you a little bit in college, but not well. But I remember you had curly hair.
30 years, yeah.
I've never seen her with straight hair.
Because I hate it, and I don't. Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't hate it. It looks good.
Oh,
it just is completely different than what you usually look like.
So we've known each other for 30 years?
Not well. She
I went to school with her older siblings.
Oh, okay.
I used to sing with her brother, and
So I didn't know her, but I knew of her.
The legend. Got it. Okay.
But then even once you moved back to Rapid, once you were in public office.
Oh, yeah.
When you hated yourself and decided to run for public office.
I did hate myself.
To punish
I
yourself.
was a total glutton for punishment. Yeah.
So that was a long time ago, too. That was 18 years.
That's a long time. Yeah. Way before kids. Way before, well, not me. I had kids, but long before you had children. And
yeah. A few years before I had children. Yeah. For sure.
Okay. Another selfie one coming up. 2014 UK. Ashley Keast is his name, 25 years old, uses a stolen SIM card in a phone to take a selfie inside a house he was burglarizing. And it must have been a good photo because he posted it on WhatsApp and unknowingly sent the photo, because of the SIM card, to the victim's sphere of work colleagues.
Oh.
And probably not the last. This has happened before. he had a stolen Rolex and they found it. So that's all he had taken from the home was a Rolex, and they found it later behind the radiator in his house. He was sentenced to 2 years and 8 months. But I mean, he's in the process of doing this, snaps a selfie, posts it to WhatsApp, and then is surprised when he gets busted.
Again, I think it is people it is a disconnect. They don't, I think we're getting to the point where they don't realize you're actually committing acts that are real in real life. And it doesn't matter that where you show them is in a virtual world.
Yeah.
It's still there.
I wonder too, I don't know if you've ever heard me say this, but I do periodically to our guests in orientation. I talk about how if the first thing you want to do when you wake up in the morning is reach for social media, it's likely you're addicted to that because their dopamine hits. So maybe it was just like that quick hit and they don't think about it. They get the fix and then move on.
Well, and I have to really want to take a selfie to take a selfie. I'll do it with my kids if they're doing something fun.
I think the only selfie I've ever taken was the one, remember the discussion we had many years ago where you did not know that my hair was naturally curly. And so I took a picture after, I just blow dried it and showed my, my mop, my clown hair. And then I wouldn't even send it. I just showed her it quick and then destroyed the photo. But
But yeah, I'm not one to, not that I never take them, but I don't take them every day. I'm pretty sure some people
You're not
do.
addicted?
Not to taking selfies because I don't love photos of myself, but it just has to be under the right circumstances. I got my hair done and I'm going to show somebody or I'm going to whatever. But it's fine. I mean, most people, it's perfectly harmless and innocent, but it is. I just think we're towing the line here. There is a disconnect between what they realize
there really
is
could be, yeah.
real, and then what they're doing online.
Does the prevalence of social media create the disconnect?
Yes.
Just by virtue of it? Do you enter it and you're already disassociated, or does that just become the world and you can't touch it?
All I know is I was in a parent presentation the other night at our school, and there was a school resource officer who came to do the presentation, and he literally was like, I have yet to see, he didn't just say Facebook, I have yet to see social media do anything good.
Yeah.
And I feel a little bit differently because in our work, we are able to share positive stories, comments. We fundraise sometimes online. We have the podcasts that we promote online. So I see it a little bit differently. But from his perspective, no doubt in law enforcement, I think it's just a hot mess. And I have a friend whose dad has since passed away, but his dad was a defense attorney. And he commented once, my dad hates social media. It made it so hard to defend some people because they put the dumb stuff out there. And it's you can't deny it. Now we have no defense for your stupidity or lack of forward thinking or whatever you want to call it. If we don't want to call it stupidity, that's fine. But I just thought that was interesting.
We just had a conversation about that with the students, engineering students that I mentor, and talked about how you put something out there, I promise you're going to be looking for a job in a year or two.
Right.
Employers are going to see this. Yeah. So just put your best face forward. I mean, this is why I just don't post. I mean, it's just not worth it. One slip of a word that that doesn't match your intent or whatever. And then I kind of wonder too, with social media, do you think it makes us it displays more of what we really are, or does it just dumb us down? And it's easier because it's not a face to face. There's no body language for us to read when we're posting something on social media. So do we lose that immediate feedback of, oh, this language is okay, or there's no regulation, self or otherwise, because you're in a room by yourself, presumably posting stuff, or in your own bubble. Even if you're in a group of people, still posting on social media, like
the filter that you might have
the filters,
when you're
the
in
feedback,
person, you don't necessarily have online. I mean, what do we call them? Like
Keyboard warriors.
Thank you.
You're
I was
welcome.
like, I literally couldn't think of the word keyboard.
oh, that thing right in front of you at your fingertips right now.
It's been a long week, people. Long week.
Words.
Yeah, I think it desensitizes people.
This is Words with Friends.
Yeah. To one of the things that we have been trying to do with our kids is, how was your day? Good.
Why? Oh, what was
Just
good about it?
one word answers, and it's like, Zoe, we need to work on having a conversation.
What if
Why,
she just
Dad?
went like this?
Oh no.
Sign
boy.
language.
I mean,
Emoji.
I'm okay with sign language.
Emoji.
No, I'm not okay with emoting. I would lose my mind. But back to the story. I'm thinking like, this guy must have been vibing.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely feeling himself. Like,
I should have brought the pictures because it was pretty hilarious.
was it?
Oh, yeah. Like the thing is on a sound deck and he's got the phone. He's like, and there's a mirror there and he's just like, he's vibing. He's totally vibing. Like, look how hot I am or something.
Well, and he probably on his phone, I wonder if he turned off his location because the photo carries the location.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
depending on how you send it.
I've got an even better one coming up where, I think it's the last one that is just, you can't make this stuff up.
Well, the wild thing in today's society, you think people would learn. Like when I was growing up, there was I'm glad I didn't grow up in today's world. I wouldn't make it in school.
No.
Because the things I was doing when I was younger, I'd probably go to jail for.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. No questions asked. In today's society, kids there's always recording. There's always things happening where somebody has a video or a photo. It's tough. And then to take it further with the online bullying.
You can't escape it.
You can't escape it. And it's terrifying to think our kids have to face these things. I went to a conference, and it was about, child pornography, these types of things.
Yeah.
And as soon as the conference was done, I called my wife and I said, unplug the router, take all the kids' devices. Because when I grew up, if somebody was trying to steal me, which highly unlikely, I was born 6'5", 300 pounds. Nobody's going to steal me unless you have free ice cream on the side of your van. I'm getting in it, Good luck picking me up. But they would have to drive by our house. Nobody, if they wanted to talk to me, if a grown-up wanted to talk to me, they would have to call my phone and my parents would answer it.
Right.
In today's society, our kids have phones, and I'm not answering that phone.
Right.
They're answering it. They're going out by themselves, and they have location. I don't know how many, Snapchat people can share their location all over the world. It's a terrifying world that we live in. Very scary, even in what people consider a small town like Rapid City. I think I've shared with you, Charity, and usually our oldest daughter at one time told me that nothing bad happens in Rapid.
Oh,
people don't get
beg
sex
to
trafficked in
differ.
Rapid.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, come with me for a minute.
yeah. Send her on a ride along with Tim.
Exactly. So, but yeah, it blows my mind in today's world. Everybody knows all of our moves are being tracked, whether it's through, location through Facebook or Snapchat or whatever. So to commit a crime nowadays I'm sometimes impressed with people that commit crimes and they get away with it because of, you have to put a lot of thought and effort into it because your location is shared. Like my truck, I have an app in it for my insurance, so I get a discount.
Yeah,
but it tracks, so I can see where I drive every day.
Yeah.
So if I committed a crime and went and robbed Safeway, they'd be like, seriously, Chad? They'd be like,
you were at Safeway at 3:33.
Yeah.
We know you were.
Yeah. It was robbed at 3:33.
You were going.
And it was this big teddy bear looking
10
guy
miles
who
over the
walked in
speed
with a
limit,
smile
yeah.
on his face.
You had a One Heart hoodie on?
I'll at least cover up the emblem, please. Hey, quick question. You were talking about that conference. I'm just curious. Were they referring to this still? This industry is still child pornography. I had heard some thought discussion around how pornography is consensual, and so it should, like, that it's being now relabeled as child abuse material. Did they talk about that at all?
Yep.
Okay.
It is child abuse material now because pornography is considered consensual, and any child pornography is not consensual because a child cannot consent to anything. So it's child abuse material now. So even they're changing the language and all that thing. It was a very educational conference, and it was a lot of fun to learn these different aspects, but also terrifying because it was child abuse. And then also they had great segments on drugs because drug abuse and child abuse can go together. My favorite thing that the DCI agent said was, if your drug dealer has all of their teeth, they're probably a cop. An undercover cop.
Oh, wow.
I've never laughed so hard.
Not all drugs take your teeth. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but it was the funniest thing I've ever heard. So, but it was good, but also scary just because, the further we advance in technology, the worse it's going to get.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, there's benefits to all of these things. Like your child gets abducted, you can find them quicker, but it does make people easier to prey upon. Like we did. Oh, it's going to be released this week, I think, actually, the stalking one, where we talked about like a law enforcement officer that was actually, do you remember where that was?
No.
In California? I don't remember. But using social media to find his targets. And then, everybody's posting, here I am, and here's where I'm going, and blah, 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 blah. And so he was able to use his position of authority to pull people over because he would know when they were leaving wherever they were. And it was really, I won't go into any more details because it'll be released soon, but yeah.
Tell us some more funny stories.
Okay, so, and by the way, there are these like listicles out there on the internet all over the place. I pulled from a variety of them. So this next chunk all came from law enforcement. So I guess great segue that I did not plan. So these are law enforcement myths and laughs all about people trying to outsmart the police because, everybody thinks they're smarter than police. Can attest. I definitely thought that at one point in my stupid life too. So, okay. All right. So 4 little ones here. Number 1, in 2010, Dr. J.P.R. Williams, yes, Dr. Williams, a surgeon and rugby legend in the UK, was pulled over for driving intoxicated. The cop witnessed him pop pennies in his mouth because he thought that the copper would alter the breathalyzer results in his favor. Total myth.
I was going to say, I feel like I heard that myth many years ago and was like, probably not going to risk that.
Not true.
Yep, tried it.
Chad tried it.
No, I'm just kidding.
Also, does it taste horrible?
I would assume so, but it was also on Mythbusters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they did it, and it didn't work. And there's a couple others, like if you wrap your vehicle in tin foil, they won't be able to get you in a speed trap. So it just is, it's interesting.
But they'll see a car with tinfoil all over it and be like...
Let's see if you tried these ones or if these were on Mythbusters. Okay, so this was Halloween 2022. 39-year-old Ross McDonald is arrested for driving down a one-way. The wrong way, obviously. They stop him. He's in full costume, and he refuses a breathalyzer. While he's sitting in jail, and I don't know what the costume was. I'm sorry. I tried to find it. While he's sitting in jail awaiting the breathalyzer, he knew he couldn't hold out and deny them forever. So he ate a roll of toilet paper, thinking it would throw off the breathalyzer. It does not.
On something else? I feel like you're taking something.
I guess he just thought if he could just absorb everything in his system, there'd be nothing.
I am horrified
to
by
blow
that.
through the breathalyzer.
And he ate the toilet paper?
While he was waiting to be.
Oh, it's that one plant. It's not soaking up anything. Gotta get that Charmin, baby.
Okay, so it would have worked with Charmin. We are not claiming that. Okay.
No. Was he hungry?
No, he just seriously thought he could get out of the breathalyzer picking up any results.
Yeah, I feel like in some of these situations may actually be crisis brain. Like, oh my God, I'll do anything to get out of this. Like eating toilet paper.
Yeah,
pennies,
no cause and effect, right? No,
I'll try anything at this point.
Try anything.
I'll eat my shoe.
Oh, they get better.
Oh, no.
Oh, here we go.
It gets worse than that. Okay.
Okay. Ontario, 2005. 59-year-old pulled over for drunk driving. In the back of the police car, he vomits, He urinates, he defecates, and then he grabs a handful of his own feces and places it in his mouth, thinking he'd outsmart the breathalyzer that way.
Again, I feel like they're on something more than just alcohol.
Also doesn't work. No, and
That's yes.
Because you have
That's
to
a
be
new-
like a new level of ick.
new
to
level of
do
potty
that.
mouth, right?
Potty.
Good one.
Pun intended.
Unintended. Okay, and this is the funniest one.
You're trying to get me to throw up today.
No, I'm
Good
not.
gracious.
But this one really made me laugh. Alberta, Canada, 2014. 18-year-old David Zerflu was pulled over for drunk driving and proceeds to run from his vehicle. Police catch him, place him in their car, and in the car, he'd somehow ripped the crotch out of his underwear, and he stuffed that in his mouth. So it's similar to the toilet paper, but he ate his own underwear, thinking that would fool the test. So
At least he was 18 years old.
18, yeah. What was the other guy?
Like,
The toilet
like
paper
59.
guy?
One of them that you just read was 59.
Oh, toilet paper guy was 39 years old, yeah, at the time.
He ate his own
At this
chonies.
point, there's no hope, right? Eat his own
No.
chonies.
Yeah. So it's,
Maybe he had it as like a churro. Chonies, churro.
it might have been.
I mean,
Are all these stories from not here? Not America? Like mostly UK?
no, they're from all over
Well,
the
the
place.
last one
yeah.
was Canada. But I
was
am kind of
Canada.
surprised. I'm like, I feel like we could find some
I
good
was
ones
like, assuming all these were taking place
within
in Florida.
500
No,
miles.
one of them we've done was in Ohio.
Okay.
There's some more coming up here. So
Well, the ones in the UK I noticed when they were robbing places, they all use knives. Do they not have like?
Yeah,
They
have
just
pretty
don't
strict
have guns,
gun
yeah.
rules
Oh,
there.
really?
yeah. Even police don't carry firearms unless they're like a special unit.
Really?
It's terrifying
Wow.
to me, being married to a police officer that has been shot, like that they're just sitting ducks. And like I love British procedurals, like watch in it, but they freak me out at the same time. Just like
Interesting.
no,
Just roll into the bank with a butter knife.
yeah.
Gonna rob this place.
I don't think it was a butter knife, but
I mean,
that
just
would
like
be funny.
I don't know. I've had a knife pointed at me before, and it wasn't terrible. I feel like I'd be like, if there was a gun, take the money. If it was a knife, I'd be like, meh.
Well, you have really long arms. You could probably just go whack.
I know, just. You here to butter my bread? I'm hungry. Yeah, I don't know. I just
Point
'cause,
and laugh.
we talk about crisis brain, right? Fight, flight, or freeze, and mine's always fight. I do some pretty stupid things, so I probably would say that.
You probably would. All right, next one. I'm calling this one Ocean's 11 Flunky. This is in Florida, so we're back in the United States, 2011. 33-year-old Nathan Coleman. Is this my fave?
Did you Google Florida
this is
man
one.
for this?
Did I what?
Florida man.
Florida man? No.
If you Google Florida man and then like your birth date, it will tell you all the craziest things that happen on your birth date from anybody
Really?
from Florida. Yes.
Oh,
it is
weird.
wild.
Okay. So he robs
Noted.
a house and he scored thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. And then he goes and tries to pawn it. He takes it to a shop and he begins showing the shop owner all the stuff he was trying to sell. And she's looking at this going, this looks like pieces I own. Like I have these pieces in my home, but she didn't know she'd been robbed yet. So she keeps calm, calls the police, calls her husband, who goes to the house, verifies, yes, their home has been
been robbed.
burglarized.
Yeah.
And of course, the guy was arrested. So, like, you're going to, I mean, come on.
What are the odds? Like, I hope he gave up being a criminal after that because I just feel like you're
doomed.
Yeah. It's like, God was like, this is not your career
This
path.
is not,
Just like, you tried it. It didn't work. So
I feel
come up
like
with
he
something
said that to
else.
all of us when
Universe
he
is
said,
giving
"Thou
you a
shalt
sign."
not steal."
all right. Gas Bandit, Kentucky 2012. Michael Baker siphoned gas from a police car and was so impressed with his efforts that he poses next to the police car and takes a selfie, posts it on Facebook, and the photo went viral. So it made it super easy for the cops to find and arrest him.
As it should.
No, this one's my favorite. Okay. I have never heard this. This is absolutely bananas. So we're going to call this magic juice and we'll see if you can figure it out. Okay.
All right.
All right. Pittsburgh, 1995. Middle-aged man robbed 2 banks in broad daylight with no attempt to disguise himself. None. He even smiled at security cameras as he left each bank. And he was shocked when police came to his house to arrest him. But I wore the juice, he said. So he had somehow been convinced that rubbing lemon juice on his skin would make it impossible for the video cameras to pick him up.
I get it.
Have you heard this?
So did you ever, when you were a kid,
You get this? You have an
lemon
explanation?
juice on paper and then it disappeared and dried, and then when you held it up against light, you could see what was written on it?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was thinking. If I rub this on my skin, it'll just disappear. I'll disappear. So back in 95, I was 8. This is something I would do, you know?
Rob a bank
I mean,
with no disguise?
no, with the juice on
Oh,
like my
you'd rub
skin.
juice on your skin?
Yeah, and be like, oh, I'll
8-year-old
disappear.
Chad might have believed it would have
Well,
worked.
this guy, what did I say he was?
33.
Middle-aged man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's, I don't know, poor guy. And he smiled at the camera. That makes
Oh, yeah, because he thought he was invisible.
Yeah.
I'm going to go mental illness on that one.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or on something, again, that causes hallucinations.
Well,
Something of that nature.
But could he see himself?
I don't think he had access to review the footage. Could he see himself? Oh,
Like in the mirror.
Yeah.
No, but he just thought the video camera, like not eyeballs, but the artificial mechanism of
Because, I mean, that's the question, right?
recording.
If you're invisible, can you see yourself?
I feel like Chad spent some
And
time
this is
thinking about
we're
this.
going down the philosophical rabbit hole now.
Just unmedicated. I mean, it's because I feel like if you rub juice on yourself and you can still see your hand.
That should be the indicator.
Yes.
Or
you
maybe
know.
like, hey, I mean, this was what did I say, 95? He probably could have had access to some type of video recorder or something to at least test the theory out before taking it to a bank.
True.
I mean, come on.
True.
But cause and effect, like
I was waiting for you to say he didn't like the photo they took in the security footage, so he wanted them to take another one.
no, not this guy. He just thought he was invisible.
Oh.
Okay, Richmond, Virginia, 2020-ish, 57-year-old man stole a bike, and then he tried to sell that bike on Craigslist, and the first buyer was the person he stole the bike from. So that's how he was caught.
I feel like you hear about that quite a bit.
One of them I read, the woman like meets up with the guy who stole her bike to say, yeah. And he's like, yeah, you can take it for a test ride. Just, make sure you come back. So she steals her bike back.
Yeah.
She just gets on it and pieces out. I'm like, go girl. Anyway.
Is it technically stealing it back, though, if it was stolen from you?
No.
Okay.
Right.
Fully within your rights to, it's just ridiculous. Okay, security tag snafu is this next one. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Jacob Wise, not aptly named, removed security tags from clothes he was attempting to steal from a store. He gets his stuff. He goes out to walk out of the store, and the alarm goes off because he placed the tags he removed in his pocket.
Rookie mistake.
Rookie mistake. I don't know how old he was, but yeah.
We call amateur hour. Well, how do you get them off first?
Right?
Ever try to get one of those tags off?
I know. The
Not
ink
saying,
explosion. I haven't tried, no.
No. But watching them put it in the thingy and twist it and pop it off, like, I mean, that takes some talent.
Yeah.
So good for that guy. I mean, he got caught.
So he was smart enough to get him off, but not smart enough to
Not put it
Not get
on
caught.
his person.
yeah.
I was a kid once, obviously, as everybody is. I was still 6'5" when I was a kid, though. And I had stolen something from a convenience store. No, it was a CD store. So for all of you kids out there, there used to be a whole store dedicated to CDs.
They don't know what CDs are.
I know. But I'd stolen like a bracelet or something, and I got through the door, and I swung my hand back, and it went back through the security thing. Because when I had gone through security, I put my hand up, scratched my head, and as I went back, I forgot how long my arms were.
Yeah.
Speaking of long arms. And it went back and went boop, 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 boop. And I was like, oh, no. So, yeah, I had to pay for it, and my parents got called. Got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
How old were you?
Oh, geez. what was I?
Wasn't like last year.
No, I was like 13, 12, somewhere.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Prime middle school time.
Probably, yeah. At the the Rushmore Mall. So, yeah, I was I was a terrible criminal, terrible liar. I'm just, not good at a lot of things.
Well, that's not true.
Well, I'm not good at being bad.
No, that
If
I
that
agree
makes
with.
sense.
I do. That does make sense.
I know I'm big and scary, like people say, but I'm not even good at that. Yeah.
Can you fake it?
Sometimes.
Can you pretend
Yeah.
to like be tough so just to like
yeah.
diffuse a situation?
Yeah. So I can
I
growl
wanna
at
see
people.
it sometime.
Yeah. Some.
His face. That was the most unconvincing growl I have ever seen.
I don't know that I've purposely ever stolen anything, but I'm certain that I walked out with something once that didn't scan properly. And I think it was even before self-scanners. And so I got home, no joke, it was a light bulb. And I was like, well, this isn't the right light. Oh, this isn't the right light bulb. I'm going to have to take it back. And I looked at the receipt and I was like, well, shoot, it's not on there. So now if I take it back, it'll look like I stole it.
I think I told you about the last time I did that accidentally, the Badges for Hope thing. Did I tell you about that?
Yes.
Okay, so
She's at a law enforcement event.
yeah, so a
people.
couple Christmases ago. So every year, like my husband and I will go and take kids shopping. It's a whole thing. So they raise money. We get the, blah, blah, blah. So go through Target, they pick what they want, and then you go through the checkout, but then you go to the back of the store and then they'll wrap things and there's food and it's just super fun.
It's a party.
Yeah. So I'm helping a kid, first time he's ever been in a store. So he didn't know what kinds of things you could get in a store. And so first I'm helping him come up with things that he would want. He had a big family, to get everybody a gift for Christmas and then something for himself. And it was such an effort because he never had this experience in his life that I was so like, oh, we're running down the clock here. We're done. We got his cart loaded up. Everyone was checked off the list. I just headed to the back of the store and we got everything wrapped. And then I gave him back to his guardian and then they walked out of the store. And then I'm laying in bed that night and I'm like, Tim's like, what's the matter? I just had this kid shoplift all the stuff. And he's like, Charity, it's fine. I'm like, it's not fine. And so he calls the organizers for me and they're like, yeah, it's not the first time that's happened. Like, oh my God, I felt terrible. So, and it's like, probably a couple $100 worth of stuff. So anyway, that's what happened. So I think I'm blackballed. No, I'm kidding. Shopping with a cop.
Shoplifting with a cop.
Shoplifting with a cop, yeah. Shoplifting with a cop's wife, yeah. All right, next one. Temper. 1985, Oklahoma, Dennis Newton. He was standing trial for robbing a convenience store, which you were just speaking of, Chad. He decides to be his own legal counsel because that always works out. Claims he was innocent, so he's going to bat for himself. Oh yeah. Store owner gives his testimony, pointing the finger at this guy. Newton gets angry and he screams, "I should have blown your effing head off," in court. And then he realizes what he said and he attempts to smooth things out. Well, I mean, like if I had been the one that was there.
No joke. My mom was on a jury way back in the day. This is going back really far. And it was like a burglary case. Mm-hmm. Nobody was hurt, to my knowledge. Nothing like that. But the person, of course, was pled not guilty. And the defense attorney was making a pretty good case. And there was nothing she said to this one point that, like, you could have convicted him for sure. And then the defendant on the stand, the prosecuting attorney, like, drew a picture of where things were in the house, like how you would have gotten in or how we say you got in. And he said, well, like, the refrigerator wasn't there. It was. And my mom's like, but he had claimed the whole time he'd never been in the house. So with one comment, they were just like, okay.
I mean, cops say this all the time. They're just like, criminals are not smart. It's not Ocean's 11, like brilliance.
Right.
Like they're not. Yeah, which is part of the reason why they resort to these types of things, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's this one? Oh, this one's funny too. Anger management classes. So 2008, St. Paul, Minnesota, hot-headed man named Justin John Bowden. He got into some sort of argument with this woman at a bus stop, and he punches her in the face. And he also attacks another person that it presumably is coming to this woman's rescue. And then he flees the scene, and he drops the stuff that he was holding, which included a folder. So police were obviously called. They find this folder, and inside was the guy's anger management homework with his name on it. So he must have been early on in his classes because it hadn't taken effect yet.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Wasn't working.
Practice makes perfect, right? Okay. Oh, okay. I was like trying to figure out why I named it this way. You know, when you feel a spark with somebody, like romantically. So sometime in 2019-ish, could be a little before, shoplifter Aaron Morrison stole a bottle of vodka, but then he stuck around to flirt with the liquor store clerk, even giving her his name and phone number.
Get it.
Get it, yeah.
You gotta shoot your shot. Like, you know what, baby? Wait for me when I get out of jail.
Hold on to this bottle for me.
Just, baby, come back. Yes. Man. I guess, you know.
So, yeah, crisis brain or idiocy or drunk.
Or in love.
Maybe in love. Maybe in love.
Yeah, I'm going with in love.
In love?
Yeah.
Young men in love do dumb things. And
This is true.
and so do
This
young
is
women.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have even
No,
put a gender on
people-
it.
Yeah.
People in love
People in
do
love.
dumb things.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I wonder
that's
if she went to see him and in jail after the
maybe
fact.
it could have been I can change him.
No, you gotta love
I can change him.
I mean,
You don't have to steal vodka. I'll buy it for you.
I work at a liquor store.
Yeah.
You
We
can
get a
steal
discount.
It, I will.
Oh,
Employee perks.
that's a good
Right.
one. That's my
funny.
favorite.
That was your favorite?
Mm-hmm.
I still like magic lemon juice.
That one's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. No disguise. Anyway, so yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was a nice
That was a good little laugh
reprieve
fest.
from the week we've been having.
It was.
Let's take a break and we'll talk escapism, shall we?
Yeah.
We'll be right back. At One Heart, transforming lives begins with safe, stable housing and a support system that allows people to reach their true potential. It requires motivation, mentorship, and a myriad of services. It takes time and treasure, but it's worth it because it's working. One Heart provides people with a sense of security, opportunities for economic advancement, and adds dozens to the workforce each year. Learn more about why One Heart works at oneheartrc.org. Welcome back to the Escape Pod. I'm Julie here with Charity and Chad, our extra comic relief. We heard some pretty good tales there of people who, for whatever the reason, did some really dumb things and got caught doing it.
There's horrible crimes. We talk
Right.
about those all the time with, people whose lives are changed forever because
Right.
of those actions. Most of these were pretty innocuous and,
Right.
and hilarious.
and
so.
just dumb.
We call that wildin'
Wilden?
in our department. Yeah. People are out here wildin'. It's like, doesn't make a ton of sense, but it's funny. Like,
Didn't you say that to me yesterday?
yeah.
Was I? You made that comment in reference to me, but I don't remember what it was.
No.
Do you remember what it was?
Was it? I don't remember.
Was it on Teams? I was like, what's he talking about? Let me
Yeah, I've
see if I
never
can
heard
find
that
this.
before.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Be like, people are out here wildin'. That's, especially
You want to
spring,
talk
summer.
about our Wilden thing yesterday?
No, because I'm going to cry.
No. I mean the hiding lady.
Oh, that lady. Oh, yeah, I can talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that, or was that Tuesday? Yeah, because that was during the
Earlier
E-team.
this week.
Oh, was it Tuesday?
Yeah, that was the
okay.
E-team meeting.
Tuesday.
Yeah, so come in, it's like 7:50, and there's this lady, she has all these papers. She's, manic, and there's another lady with her, and I assumed this was the pre-interview, okay?
Like, just so our listeners, people get referred into our program. And so you're thinking this is somebody here to do a meeting to consider, like, is she really ready for this program?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I said, good morning to our admin assistant. And she said, good morning, Chad. And this lady said, Chad. And she starts having a meltdown. And like
A happy meltdown, excited meltdown, or
it was like excited
sad
and
meltdown.
crying. If you've ever seen somebody who's manic.
like you're my favorite person from my I'm so happy to see you
Yeah,
kind of thing.
it's
Okay.
that manic, like cry, excitement. Like it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna murder me? And thank goodness she didn't. And I'm getting ready to go behind the locked door, so I kind of turn around like, if anybody comes out, I can't let her get in. Which Life Safety was laughing because they were like, "Oh, you really are security minded." Because as soon as she said my name, I was like, "Whatcha?" Like, you can't go past this door. And she's like, "I used to work for you." And I said, "Oh, really?" And she was like, "Yeah, about 10 years ago." And she's like, you used to be sexy as fuck. But now you're bigger." She's like, you're bigger. And she's like, "But that's okay. That's okay." And I said, "Yeah, I grew up. I didn't know how to respond."
Yeah.
So,
Like I'm so uncomfortable.
yeah.
Right now.
"I used to have a crush on you." And I was like, "Oh, boy." I'm just
Walking backwards.
I've been married for 13 years. Like, I don't know how to respond. People hit on me. It's like, can I get you to the care campus? Something's wrong. But turns out she did used to work with me. And the entire time this is happening, the lady who was, I thought, with her was kind of hiding behind the corner of our lobby. And I thought that was our partner. And in my head, I was like, I'm going to find out
Help
who that lady
me.
is.
Yeah.
And you were not sending us referrals ever again.
Is she unaffiliated?
No, it was Laura.
She was here to shadow somebody
Yeah, the
back
intern.
then. So she had
Oh, okay.
nothing to do with the
Nothing to
other
do with
lady.
And so
Yeah.
it took me a minute to figure out, she's got nothing to do with this. Lady's literally just walked in off the street. And of course, our new admin assistant at that time,
Day 2.
day 2, who the night before said, "Hey, things are kind of slow." And that's just cursing us every time.
Yep.
Ever say those words, yeah.
And then she was kind of like wide-eyed, like, "Oh my gosh." So anyways, I'm like, "Hey, let's go over to the care campus. Let's get you some help." She's like, "Okay." And so we start to walk out. She's like, "Oh, wait, I forgot my bag." I was okay. So I waited, and she went in and grabbed her bag. Comes out, and I said, "Oh, it's a really pretty bag." And she said, "Oh, thank you." And then I hear this voice say, "Excuse me, that's my bag." And I turn around, and it's the intern. So this lady went inside and stole this lady's lunchbox and came back out with it. And I had no idea. I thought,
Yeah.
yeah, this lady's first time there to do an internship with us, to shadow us for the day. And all this happens. Her lunchbox gets stolen.
So I walked into work that day at like 8:10, and we have a meeting at 9:30, and Chad's sharing all of this. And I'm like, "When did this happen?" And he's like, "This morning." And I'm like, "What time?" And he said 7:50-ish, like just before 8 o'clock. And I said, literally in the 10 to 15 minutes that I wasn't here this morning, that's what happened. And it did. I
Yeah.
miss a lot of the good stuff.
It was all right. We got over to the care campus, and she's looking for her ID. And she was like, "All right, I think I'm good." And I was like, "Okay." And you guys know how much I love hugging, right?
Oh, not at all. That'd
Not
be
at
not
all.
at all. Yeah.
So she puts all of her stuff down, and she's like digging through the garbage over there. And I'm like, I can take you down a little bit further to get you into Health and Human Services. She's like, "No, we're good." And then she gives me this really fast hug. And I just like froze up,
Sneak attack.
and I'm sure they probably have a really funny video over there of me just like, "Yeah," and then just like awkwardly patting her on the back. Good luck,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a fun one to get the day started. So
Well, Justice was telling me that she was also pulling stuff off of the, where we have the bulletins posted,
Yes.
because she liked the way the string bounced. So
Yeah.
she'd pull stuff off the wall and just watch
bounce
the
up.
string bounce. Yeah.
well, I had after I'd talked to her, I had gone back behind our door to put my stuff in my office, And I tell you guys, I punched my coat and I opened the door. And Brittany and Ashley are standing right there laughing. And they're like, did she just
They
say?
could hear everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
they were like,
that's
did she just say what I thought she said, Chad? And I said, I don't want to talk about it. Like, she knew me 10 years ago, 150 pounds, okay? I used to be the package, okay? Now I'm just a package.
What's that LMFAO song? I'm sexy and I know it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So
going to be your theme song. We're going to play that every time you come up to speak and do a staff training or something. I'm going to play that.
So I come back out, and she's on the other side of the desk. And we have that ID scanner, that badge scanner.
Mm-hmm.
So she's scanning her eyeball.
Oh, no.
She's
Oh,
like,
no, I don't think that's probably good.
it didn't actually scan.
Okay.
And then she's like scanning the back thing. And at one point, she points it at the ceiling, and she's like, pew, pew. And, like, you know, Crystal and Justice were like just staring at me.
Wide-eyed.
And I'm like, you guys got this, right? It's like, I'm kidding. I got it. So yeah.
So Chad, actually, you really did kind of take care of her. You weren't, we can chuckle about it after the fact, but you were actually very sensitive to
Oh, absolutely.
She needed actual help, and we made sure she got it.
Yeah, it was, crisis intervention. We were walking out, and I said, so, what's been going on? Because I ended up recognizing her. And, it sounds like her mental illness came out of nowhere. And she's like, I've been up for 2 days. Can you believe it? And I said, yeah, I can. She's like, oh, really? And I said, yeah. I said, and she's like, yeah, I have schizophrenia and bipolar. And I was like, so it's manic episode. And she was like, yeah, I just got out of, I think she was sitting over in county for something, and they had just released her. So, so yeah, she was riding that 2-day manic ride, and she was just probably going to crash. She said she had a car, but she couldn't remember where she parked it. So yeah, it was sad, but at the same time, afterwards, it was funny. But in the moment, when all these things are being said, it's just it's the part of this job in this industry that I enjoy is, you never know what you're going to get.
Yep.
I wasn't expecting to walk in Tuesday and somebody be like, you got big, so big. But it's okay. It's totally okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's totally okay. But that's, the funny part afterwards. And it's hard when you run into people that you used to know, you used to work with, that something in their lives went wrong, and now they're dealing with their own crisis. So hopefully she's doing okay now. But yeah, it was interesting after the fact. So
I think the funniest part, though, is what you texted your wife after that.
Which part?
Wasn't it like, I still got it or something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I said, Katie, I said, I told her, I said, everything happened. I said, so in summary, I said, still got it. She probably just could write a book with all the things that I just offhand things that I say to her all the time. But yeah.
That'd be a great coffee table book.
Just offhanded things.
That could be a fantastic
idea.
Little fun side project.
Well, I mean, the
Good
things
stuff.
that happen here are just always funny. I remember when we first opened, right? And this is my favorite story of you, Charity. So hopefully you don't mind me sharing.
Of me?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you if we have to edit it out or not.
Okay. It was like our first week or two of the campus being open. And I can't remember, you were just leaving the building or something, and you were driving down this street here, and we were talking about something had happened on campus, and you're like, hold on. There's some people on the campus. This private property. And I said, okay, I can call life safety. And you're like, no, I got this. And next thing I know, I just hear your car going into park and the door opening up, and you were like, you guys, this is private property. And the phone disconnected. And the last thing I remember you saying is like, there's 3 or 4 of them. And in my mind, I'm like, shit, they're murdering Charity. Like she's there. And so I try to.
She's leaving clues behind.
And so I called life safety. They weren't answering. And I'm like, they're responding to Charity's murder. And I tried to call you again. You didn't answer. And like in my head, I'm like, oh my God, like Charity's dead. Do I go back to work? Because I just left. And life safety calls and they're like, what's up? And they're like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. She was way scarier than us. She got them going.
Chased them
By the
off.
time we got there, she was in her car and waved at us.
They were graffitiing. So
Yeah.
I'm like, we just opened. And
Yep.
I mean,
And you had called me back and you were like, it's fine.
busted my butt
Yeah.
getting construction just in the delays and COVID and everything. And so it's like, why are you defacing our campus? I'm like, I am not having it.
Yes. So those are the stories.
But that was that like instinctual. I'm sure at some point I was like, this probably was not very smart, but I'm Mama Bear. I'm going to protect, this. Yeah, I'm going to protect it. So
Yeah. So I'm glad you're alive.
thank you.
'Cause you called me right afterwards and I was like, thank God. Like, so
One
glad you're
weekend.
alive. Yes.
Later that one time we have this beautiful tribute out in our park, and I'm in Nicole's office one day, and someone that is not affiliated with our campus and I don't mind if passersby because it is a really beautiful contemplative
Yeah,
space.
sometimes
I
people
don't
sit
mind
under
if
it
people come
or-
and hang out and enjoy it. But this idiot starts hanging on it like it's monkey bars or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah,
and
he was.
it's a memorial.
Yeah.
And so I just reactively, I hit Nicole's window and I scream, "Hey!" And then I go running out of the thing. And people heard me, and this is a 20,000 square foot building, and they heard me clear in the opposite corner, and everybody came running because they thought I was
wrong.
probably
Yeah.
getting murdered again. But I get out there and the guy's like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry. And then he gets off and leaves. He didn't, just like, what are you breaking off my stuff? Anyway, so.
But these are the stories that Katie hears. Some she could probably write the book of just offhanded stuff Chet has said to me. And I'm sure her friends probably just enjoy it. I know, especially lately, I enjoyed your message yesterday, Julie, about, hey, side note, Chad, I know that you're unmedicated and there's probably worse side effects. I can't remember how you worded it. She's like, but your humor is just top notch.
Yeah, I was like, I know you might not like feeling like this, but the humor is spot on. Yeah, I was like, that was fun. There was something he said in a meeting, and I can't repeat it because it included somebody's name, but I laughed about that the rest of the day. Every time I thought of that moment, I chuckled. So, well, I am glad that you escaped from the awkward hug and the long-lost person who you didn't know had a crush on you 10 years ago. Are you escaping from anything else or escaping to anywhere you want to talk about before we wrap things up?
Yeah, we're escaping, leaving
Oh, yeah.
this afternoon. We're going to go to Vegas for the weekend and get away from some of the stress and daily stuff. So
Me
excited about that.
getting away from
Yeah,
me.
he's running away from Julie.
No, I enjoy being around you, Julie. So I actually shared with my doctor yesterday. I literally read her that message you sent me.
Aw.
And,
Everybody's noticing
Yeah,
that I'm unmedicated, in other
yes.
words. Yeah.
as about as sympathetic as she could be, she said, well, I'm glad you have that going for you. Thank you. Now can I get my stimulants back?
Please help me.
Please help.
Yes.
Charity,
Sounds
where are
my
you
brain.
escaping to or from?
1,000 downloads. So,
Oh, yes.
So this is the month of March. And we're doing a push in the month of March to try to hit 1,000 downloads. So again, downloads are not necessarily reflective of listenership, but it's downloads that can be counted. And that's when we can get to the monetization. And of course, we're doing everything we can to help support our mission here. And that's really why we decided to create this podcast, is to help generate some revenue for what we're doing, because it's working and it's changing lives and it's incredibly hard to fund. And we've talked about that. People don't pay to be here, and that's a life changer for them.
Yeah.
So that means we're fundraising for everything. And so this is just one fun way that we can help build that community. And so please download, please listen, please share, please give us some good reviews. That's another way on the media that you listen to your podcast through. If you give us good ratings, that helps other people find us too. Really excited to report we have listeners in Peru and the Philippines, in Germany and Canada. And so that's pretty exciting to watch. I think we're off to a really good start, but we're really trying to hit that 1,000 downloads mark. So please help us do that. Just share it with everybody that you think might get a kick out of Chad and his shenanigans, or anything going on that we have on the show. And we just really appreciate it. We all have full-time jobs here, and this is just adding more to our plates, but we love it, and we are really hoping to grow it into something special.
So check out our website at escapepod.live. Follow us on our socials. Reach out at justbecaus@escapepod.live or share your story of escape with us at escapeartist@escapepod.live. We are closing the hatch on this episode of the Escape Pod, but remember, trauma may be inevitable. How you grapple with it is optional.
I'm going to use a different one this time. I heard this on a podcast. It was a quote from a police officer, I believe. When bad things happen, you can be a victim or a survivor. I was like,
Survivor.
Yeah.
Stay resilient.
And keep laughing.